being a volunteer about being able to give back. You know, most of the time I'm at the other house mostly, but I love just being able to give back, and I find myself as I'm sitting there doing the different rooms or whatever, then I pray over each, I try to pray over each room, not knowing the person's situation. I can't do anything to repay them for, you know, all that they provide here. I mean, they really spoil you. You know that. So, it's difficult for someone like me that, you know, I can't give back to them right now. You hope that you can in the future, but, you know, I can't do that right now. So I had fully intended on volunteering myself after my first stay here.
Yeah.
For my second stay here. You know, you wonder why stuff happens the way that it does. But maybe, you know, you get a better perspective on every aspect. I stayed here as, you know, a loved one of someone that was in the hospital. And now I'm staying here as going through treatment myself and needing a place to go. And I've certainly met a lot of people under all different circumstances that have, you know, been staying here. So it gives you a little bit of a different perspective on the why part. I've worked with volunteers for years, and just coordinating the volunteers here has got to be, you know, it's got to be a challenge in and of itself. So.
I knew the Willards through my husband who taught with Jeff, and a friend of mine who taught third grade had all the Willard kids. The operation itself is amazing. You know, they keep this going so well.
I want to be able to go back to work.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I need to see people.
Yeah.
I need to do stuff with people.
Sure.
Right now, I'm so tired all the time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And to talk to somebody that's been through this and was able to go back to, you know, having some of the things that they want, you know, like a real life, that would be wonderful to talk to somebody like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen people who are just very sad, you know, really just, you could tell they're just, well, they're making phone calls and, you know, talking to their family back home, and they just need a place to rest, need a place away from the hospital, and that's, of course, what has been provided for them.
I kind of
So-
enjoyed being bald because you didn't have to worry about a bad hair
Yeah.
day.
It probably saves a lot of money on hair
Well, now
products
that,
too.
you know, my hair has started growing back in, it kind of has a different mind of its
Yeah,
own.
she went through that too.
And so I have to wear a hat all the time because
Yeah.
there's not a good hair day.
Right.
And so I keep teasing my mom I'm going to have it all shaved off again. She said, oh, no, it'll be okay. It's going to get a little longer. And it's like, really, no.
These can be, you want this moved out?
The big bucks.
You want this moved out?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
What are you calling this film?
What is Hunter House?
Hunter House is a respite for people who have family, loved ones in the hospital. It has expanded beyond that to be a place where people who are going to be hospitalized themselves sometimes stay with us before surgery or something like that. But it's for people going through medical situations or having family or loved ones going through family medical situations, giving them a place to recharge a little bit.
My diagnosis, I was diagnosed in February with stage 3 lung cancer. I started chemo. They wanted to get aggressive with the radiation, and they wanted to do twice a day. And I flat out, I told them, I said, you know, I'm driving 60 miles round trip to get down to Port Huron. And they mentioned the Hunter House to me, and I started staying here, almost 3 weeks ago.
I'm from Sandusky. I got the gas or the vehicle. I said, is there any way I can get a place, to finish my radiation here?
Joyce stayed with us a couple times at the Lincoln House, and Amanda and her established a relationship with each other, and now Joyce is a guest here at this house, so Amanda is here to visit with her and chat a bit.
When a person is going through treatment, it's hard, just like going to the doctor's office, just the travel. And then to try and go back home that same day, you're putting yourself at risk, but you're putting other people at risk too, because if you fell asleep, and you don't mean to, it just happens.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking of it, he got to come home on the 8th of January. He is definitely, you can tell he's a preemie. I was worried about even leaving him there because that was my first son, so I didn't know what I was gonna do.
We have a new donor organization, the Fraternal Order of Eagles from Croswell, Lexington area. Some of these, we kind of know are coming. Some are absolutely out of the blue, and we try and figure out, okay, who knew somebody within that organization. Sometimes we find out it's there's a former guest who had a connection with an organization, and maybe sometimes we never find out. And then we have bills. Just like everybody else has bills, we have bills that come in, so it's not all good news, but
Fred corners Mason and barks at him for minutes on end.
It's usually pretty impressive.
Good.
They are extraordinary people that do things like this throughout the year for charity. And last year they changed it to not just the Hunter House run, it's in memory of one of the bikers who passed away, who was all about Hunter House.
Just a call to say they'd be here at approximately 1 o'clock, and I'm thinking we're good.
So busy, and every time we tell people how it's possible that we can offer this for free, we use you guys as an example. Just an incredible group that has supported us from the very beginning. It means the world to us and to them.
Every day begins and ends with some sort of Hunter House thought. Who's coming to volunteer? Did they cancel? Is there a bedroom that needs to be changed over? Do we know who's coming tomorrow? Is that guest still at the hospital, or have they gone? There's just so much to keep track of. A lot of people want to know how to help, and sometimes I just have to be honest and say, we have to pay the bills, so if you'd like to make a donation, that would be spectacular.
Yeah, for the Eagle Riders 3702 of Blue Water, we'd like to present the Hunter House with a check for $1,300 for a run we did this year for you. And also we did a 50-50, and the woman's name is Carrie
Champlain.
Carrie Champagne donated $65 of her 50-50 back to you. So here's the money for $1,365.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's going to pay a lot of bills. Thank you.
Go ahead.
It always makes me cry.
Yeah, you make me cry.
You make us cry by crying.
We're not tough bikers.
you know.
Go in here and we'll get you out of here as soon as we can.
Yeah, the doctor's getting ready to do a procedure, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna try and drain some of the fluid off the lungs.
Gotcha. Okay, let me. Come on in. Come right around here, take a seat at the table, guys. Because I'm not super worried about cleanliness because we clean the house every day. However, when you guys leave your shoes at the front, it lets me know if you're in the house. So that's why I always ask you to do that. That way we know if we can, vacuum outside or anything like that.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm going to give you guys each set of paperwork here. I'm going to get you guys. I'm the manager, so I run the volunteers. I coordinate any type of projects that volunteers might need to do. I maintain the houses and do all the registrations of the guests. And we do those up until about 8 o'clock at night. We didn't used to when I first started, so we had some later night registrations. But basically any of the day-to-day stuff around both houses, I drive back and forth and take care of. So what's going on? I guess I should ask that too.
We don't truly know. She came in with excruciating hip pain and unable to breathe.
Okay.
So they were going to vent her, which she refused. She's put in the ICU. She's under BiPAP. They x-rayed her. She has extensive amount of fluid upon her lungs.
In her lungs.
In her lungs.
Let's see.
What about, okay, Mom's
Any
not,
questions?
I just thought though.
I know, I get it. I understand, Annie. I understand.
My mind is just like gone.
You guys are all on hospital brain. We totally understand it. Okay, so who can stay in the same room? Well, actually, you know what?
I think it's good, that's son and mom.
Okay.
Or whatever you want to do.
Well,
Whatever
most of the
works for
rooms
you.
have one bed, so that's the big problem. I'm guessing you guys don't want to sleep in the same bed. I'll put you guys in the same room. It's got 2 twin beds in it. Is that okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the lounge chair.
The lounge chairs.
Oh, it was established on Kyle's birthday.
Room 1. That was in room 1, yeah, right there. This is room 4. Each room is has been adopted by a certain group, so we get the stuff donated, and then the groups get it all set up the way they want it set up for you guys. Okay.
It's well deserved.
It is. There's the bathroom down at the end. I gotta show you guys how not to die.
Oh,
There's this
okay.
little funky rubber mat. I think everybody knows what it is. It's just for your feet. I need you to throw it down when you shower. If you don't, you will slip and crack your head. It's a reglazed tub. It is slippery. Even if you're like, no, it's not that bad. It is. I promise you, okay? Make sure you throw that down, and when you're done, throw it right back up, okay? Just for cleanliness. Like I said, the closet for extra towels is right here. There's extra clothes in the closet at the end here if you guys forgot anything. I think that's about it. Okay? I keep saying that, but I think that's about it. I can keep thinking of more and more things, but you guys comfortable in the house?
Comfortable in the house.
Okay, that's really what we're trying to make sure of. After this, you don't have to have contact with me as long as she's in the hospital. You're good. I mean, I'm not saying don't have contact with me. But you guys just deal with your situation. You don't have to worry about me at all. You don't have to update me daily or anything like that. As long as she's in the hospital, deal with your situation, okay? If she's out of the hospital and I find out that and you've been here for 2 days, then we got a conversation. I might be kicking you out of here, and that's the bad part. So,
Well, that's
I didn't think so. So let us know that way. As long as you're talking to me during that type of process, there's no worries. We can figure something out for you guys, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's show you how to use the door, and I think you guys are good. This is a deadbolt. It is nothing more, so don't overcomplicate it from that, okay? And the code to get in is just simply your key, okay? From the inside, it's an old house, it's an old door, so you are going to have to
Give it a shot.
shut it, okay? It's a very nice place.
Yes, it is.
All right.
It's beautiful.
No other questions whatsoever? I know you'll think of 8 once you leave, but nothing
Just
right
double
now.
check. It's locked, the button, the coat.
So why don't we go over? I'll actually have you guys do it before you go. Are you guys leaving right now anyways?
Well, I'm going to bring in my...
Okay, so let's go outside. I'll show you.
Take a shower.
At least have one
I
or two
want to take
people
a
try
shower.
it.
I got to take a shower. I got to get these clothes off.
Where'd you come from?
Rogers City.
And if you guys run out of
Alpena
groceries,
area?
let me know.
How far away is that?
Way up
Oh,
north on the tip of the
okay.
mitt. I think, we'll all take showers and get cleaned up and change clothes and head back.
we haven't gotten any texts.
Do whatever you guys need to. You guys have the code, you guys have your keys, you know what
Yep.
your rooms are.
No,
you know
Michelle said she'd text as soon as the doctor got there, so we should head through the shower as fast as we can.
All right, I'll
I
stop
really
talking
wanna
to you guys
take one.
then.
I cannot. I'm done. Stinky. All right, have a good one, guys.
You're all set.
I work at Emily City, and I was having trouble breathing and chest pains. And I went inside and told them, I says, you know, get a first responder over here, because I thought I was having a heart attack. One of the bosses looked at me and says, nope, we're calling 911. And then I was in the hospital here for almost a week. I was, well, from Friday afternoon to a Thursday afternoon, I was in the hospital. Did biopsies and, you know, CAT scans and x-rays, and they finally let me go from the hospital, and I still didn't know what was going on. And then I had follow-up appointments with 3 different doctors, and one of them was on that Monday after I got out of the hospital. That's when I was diagnosed, and you know, so then it's like, okay, well, now what do I do? I've been staying here on and off for 3 weeks. You know, I go home a couple nights a week up to Croswell, but it's nice to have a place where I can go and just relax during the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in between, because that's 6 hours in between each treatment. I go at 8 o'clock in the morning, then again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I feel pretty good. I mean, I have, and even the doctors have said it to me, and I've had a lot of other people say it to me, that the radiologist, I seen him on Monday, and he says that I look I look and act 95% better than any other patients he's had go through there with what I'm going through.
We have our weekly volunteers, which they blow me away more than most people, simply because they have signed up to come in once a week, whether it's a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday. So they sign up for that day to come in every week. They're here for about 2 to 3 hours, and they clean up the whole house, just like you would if you were gonna, all right, I'm gonna clean my apartment, or all right, I'm gonna clean my house. They come here and do that every week. But then we also have volunteer, I'll call them activities. We have days where we need volunteers to sit at a table and talk about Hunter House. We have days where we need volunteers to help us with a fundraising event we have going on. We have volunteers who will come and sit with cancer patients while they're dealing with treatment. They're from out of town. They don't have anybody here, so they're just at a house for 6 weeks by themselves. So we'll have volunteers who actually come out just to talk with that guest.
If we could have it the way we wanted it, you would never know this, because we just want it to be that people who need it call and they get a room and they get what they need and they leave, and there's no ripples.
This is such an honor to be able to participate with, to work with the people who want to provide it in any way that they can, whether it's that they're mowing the lawn or planting something in the garden or changing a room or making cookies. So many people are making this happen.
The place is fine. I mean, if I had the money, I'd pay to stay here, but I'm only on SSI, and when we get like $733 a month, and that's got to help pay for half of my rent on the house in Sandusky, the lights, telephone, insurance on the vehicle. Don't need to go too far, but I'm going to try to, come up with something just for donations or whatever for here. I got till probably the 15th of July. I should be done. That's about couple weeks, 2-3 weeks away yet. They were sleeping on the floor and stuff in the hospital and that, and sometimes they'd be going back and forth to home. And I once I knew about it, it was pretty much too late, because the lady, the one I used to really call my mother, she already passed away, and then after she passed away, had like a little doings there at the hospital. People just, last rites to see him, or whatever you want to call it. And then still up in the air a little bit because she's supposed to be taking her to get her cremated, but she's got people that want to see her, so I mean, seeing her person, you know, just remembering her when she was alive, and now seeing her laying there on the slab, it's the same because I always told her it should be me there, not her. I don't know. And the time they figured, how much it was going to cost for the funeral was almost 10 grand. And her insurance, if she would have had like two more months, would have covered her whole funeral. But all she had into it was $1,800. So everybody was trying to get money up ahead and that, and try to, you know, so because she didn't believe in being cremated, you know, and I don't know. Well, I cried like a darn fool. Cried like a baby when she was dying, and cried like a baby when she was laid out in the funeral parlor. And so they went the cheapest way, the cremation. They get their hair fixed, and then the showing before she went for that came to $2,600 and $2,636. So her insurance covered the 18 of it. Got help from the social service. They paid $6, so the $150, $200. My mother-in-law's son, oldest son, is taking care of that. And as far as I know, they didn't send her out to be cremated yet. And I don't know. She keeps on my mind, you know. Last time I was home last weekend, I went to the bathroom, and I could have swore she was telling me, "Don, I need to go to the bathroom." I said, "In a few minutes." So I got up to go to the bathroom. It was just in my mind. Nobody was there. Yeah, 64, going on 64 and act like I'm 16 years old, you know. But yeah, 64. If there was things I could have changed in my past, I would, but there ain't no time machine to go back into the past and that, so I'm stuck with the way I am now. Who knows, maybe after people like us and that are gone, maybe they will be able to come up with a time machine to go back into time and that, but probably not in my lifetime.
$50,000 fund balance is typically about $2,500 on an annual basis that would come back to Hunter Hospitality House, just without question.
We have two potential board members. We'll give you guys a chance to say hello. We'll excuse you guys, and then we'll have our meeting and do all the fun business that we get to do, if that's all right.
I think Hunter Hospitality House is a very necessary entity in our community, and learned that firsthand a couple years ago when, and it wasn't here in town, I was out of town. My father was in a hospital, and I was driving there either every day or sleeping on chairs, very similar to this, you know, night after night, working from there, and it was horrible. And so I understand that when a family member is in the hospital, the other family member has to worry about them in the hospital, talk to the doctors, know where they're going to eat, where they're going to sleep, and you're so exhausted you can't even think.
The only complication we're going to run into with you, and I already told you on the phone, I'm just going to give you some paperwork for, I'm sorry, I forgot your wife's, or
Lacey.
girlfriend. Lacey, okay. Is it girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay. And is this your guys' first kids?
Yep.
Very cool, so
First
exciting.
two. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Giovanni and Michael.
Okay, and are you guys from the area here?
I live in St. Clair and she lives in Croswell.
Okay, very cool.
It's kind of the struggle right now with her living all the way out there and
Right.
me living over here and her not being able to drive.
Okay.
Kind of like.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And you got twins, so that's awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quick, just to get it out of the way, I'm going to hand you paperwork to fill out here. Everything on this registration sheet is basically everything off of your ID. Nothing should be too surprising from here.
All right.
Then I'm going to have you sign the rules. You don't have to really read through them because I'm going to read them all out to you in a second anyways and hit on the important ones. I might need to get you a new pen. There we go. And then, as I already said, I do need some form of credit card or debit card. I'm not going to hold on to the card. I'm just going to take a photocopy of it.
All right.
And that serves as your security deposit. I don't need you to fill this out, but I do need you to sign it. And that one basically says that if you run off with our fridge or smash a window, that we have the right to use your information to track you down. We don't have the right to charge you out of nowhere. But just so you know, we've gone through 920-ish, guess, something like that. We've never charged anybody, so you'd really have to try to do something bad.
Yeah, everyone over there is making us feel real good about it because, you know, they're all surprised how good they're doing, being
good.
early like they are.
How early were they? I'm sorry.
They were at 35 weeks, so they weren't too early, but a month earlier than we were expecting.
Yeah,
them,
right,
so.
right. Which, it could have been worse. That's not too bad. It's nice to help out anybody we can, but it's cool when we get the new parents in here like you guys. And how old are you? I meant to ask you.
I'm 26.
26, okay.
Yep.
How old's your girlfriend?
She's 23.
23, very cool.
And then they did mention you guys have a breast pump over here.
We do. I'll show you that before you head out. Remind me, but I will show you where it's at. I have no answers other than where it is, but as far as I've been told, it used to be the same model as the hospital. I don't believe it's the same model anymore, but I believe it's very, very similar to what she's using over there. That leads to a driveway behind the garage here. Okay. And the ashtray in the backyard, which also goes from the basement, is right here. Your code is just simply the key to this deadbolt, which is what this is. It's just a deadbolt lock, okay?
All right.
On the inside, it's as simple as that. Just twist it whatever way you need to. Let's see. I think I can show you the front door. By the way, with lights and everything like that, feel free to turn on all of them if you want to. Turn them all off. It's your house while you're here, so feel comfortable, okay? All right. Breast pump. I know this is where it is. I know there's a basket of stuff in there, and there's also a sign-in sheet. That is all I know about it. Throw this down, okay? It's a very slippery bathtub. If you don't throw that down, you could slip and crack your head very easily. If you need to get comfortable here, feel free. You got all the time in the world you need now. I just have to wrap up a few things for the day. Okay?
Yeah, I'm about to go clean up that hospital room and
have fun.
Start moving stuff out.
All right. Well, like I said, just remember that paperwork, and you guys are all set. Yeah. Okay?
I went and got my neighbor, who is a genius when it comes to plants, because I thought he's going to ask me the names of those plants. But I have the names of the plants now. And I tried to make it Grandma's garden, which I suppose is just a copy of my grandmother's garden. But I remember the bleeding heart that she had, and the spirea, as I say, Tracy. That meant a lot to Tracy, the spirea. And I was surprised one day when I came home, when I came here, and Jeff and Tracy had come in, and they had, there's something in the garden for you, and that's where it says Grandma's Garden, the little, that they had purchased to put there. That meant a lot. And people have said, you know, it's nice to look out the windows and look down on the garden. And it is. My friend and I, Annie Gardner and I, do music that benefits Hunter House. And we did one last Sunday at the North Street Methodist Church. And then the Women's Benefit Association doubles whatever we took in. And so that helps because these places are old. They need a lot of replacing. But it's just people are able to stay who would not be able to have cancer treatments at the other place because they could do it free and the food is free and it's a nice place to stay with security too. Garrett was a year older than a little more than that, than Hunter. And he told me one day when we were walking and I was holding his hand, he said, I really miss my brother. And I thought for a little one, that was really came out of his heart. So I'm sure this is healing when he's able to do the work that he does here. I'm sure it is healing. And we don't know what kids retain from things like that, what little ones retain. I think they retain a lot more than we think they do.
Tracy and I had our oldest son, Garrett. He was a year old, and then she was pregnant again. So Hunter was born, but it was an early. Her water broke very early, so she was put on bed rest, and he was born prematurely.
I remember when Hunter was in the hospital as a patient, and I was not. And he had been readmitted, and I remember taking our youngest son to my mother-in-law's house, and she was going to watch him while I went to take care of Hunter and feed him and spend time with him. And I was crying. I didn't like leaving Garrett. I didn't like leaving Hunter at the hospital.
She was released. She's still a mom who just had a baby, who's physically exhausted. She's emotionally wiped out, and probably should not, even though we just lived close, probably shouldn't have been on the roads driving home and then coming back. And so the nurses would tell her, you need to leave. She probably would have never left. But so that's where we got the idea that we had Hunter for 16 days. We did get to take him home. There was some back and forth with the hospital with him. He wasn't, there were some health issues, and we lost him at home.
You good?
I couldn't believe that this is what was happening to our family, and I was so tired. I didn't even know why I was crying, but I stood there on that porch crying for so long, and then I got in my car and I drove to the hospital, and I have no idea how I got there. And I was in the parking lot thinking, I could have ran a stoplight. I have no idea. I'm here. And I remember driving home hours later past the Chicken in the Rough sign. I don't know why, but I remember the Chicken in the Rough sign was flashing red, and whenever I see a car go in and out of the hospital, I wonder, how long have you been crying? Are you so tired like I was? Are you capable of driving? Because I probably wasn't. Praise God I didn't get in a car accident, but those feelings always stayed with me and led Jeff and I to so many conversations about it would be so great to help out with a house that was near the hospital so that people didn't have to drive.
That's definitely it. And that's where the idea behind this came from, what we lived. So, and it's grown. We had no idea. We had no idea that we'd be giving rooms to people needing surgery. We had no idea that we'd be giving rooms to people who are receiving cancer treatment. We had no idea that we'd be having people here staying with us as they wait for someone to pass away. You know, we just lived our thing, and that's what it was all about. But once we got rolling, we found out that there's a lot of people who have needs.
Of the cemetery that he's buried in is called Babyland, and I don't know why they called it Babyland because that sounds so fun. It sounds like some sort of little playland in a mall, you know? I don't do well at the cemetery. I never have, which is why this is such a great gift that she takes care of his grave. Because we're very aware that others could see that grave and know this is Hunter. So this area used to have a bunch of teddy bears and balloons and flowers and all kinds of real personal items to people. But they're not allowed to do that anymore.
No.
It was hard for the cemetery to maintain the beauty of it with that. So I was telling Travis this is called Babyland, which is such a strange name.
Yes, it is. But in a lot of cemeteries, that's what they call it. So, I was just here last week. I know it makes me sad that we had it so pretty for a couple of years with the flowers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just got here, so I haven't had a chance to tidy it up here. But so. I do what I can. I visit him regularly.
Thank you. We appreciate the service so much. It's really...
You're so welcome.
It's such an honor for me to be able to do this for you.
So that's about all I can handle of this today.
Oh, I love you guys.
Even all these years later, you will have it come here.
Sweet little souls here. No parent should ever have to come here. This is just not the way things should be. We shouldn't be burying our children before us.
Is there any new word on the baby since Tracy talked to you?
I literally was just texting Ashley back. She's getting out this morning. She's been discharged.
Awesome.
So I was upstairs. I've been packing because we knew it was hopefully probably coming. She's good size. She was 7'8" when she was born. I weighed her last night. She was 7'5".
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, they say they lose a little bit of weight.
They can lose quite a bit.
Yeah, she didn't lose very much. So it was a long night, and then she was up at like 8, I believe, to go back and feed her, and she's been there since.
Wow.
And I was going to stay and pack up because we were in hopes that she was coming home. And sure enough, she got the word around 9 or so. I was just coming downstairs to get a coffee warmed up, and I got a text from her.
That's wonderful.
It's absolutely amazing. When she was born, she just wouldn't breathe. Like, she was laboring to breathe so bad. Lots of oxygen being pumped in her. She had IVs feeding her, feeding tube, monitor this, monitor that. Grandma and Grandpa want the baby home.
Right? Do they live in Yale as well?
They do. Yep, they're there as well. They came up last night, had dinner at the Chicken and a Rough there, and then they stopped over. That was amazing. You know, we were holding her, and we changed her and this and that. And before that, my parents had gotten in and come in and see her, and, you know, check her out, and she was still sleeping. But when she woke up, she wasn't fussy. She was just happy as can be, content as can be. So they got to hold her for the first time last night, and that was absolutely amazing for them to do too.
Well, I hope I get to see her in the future.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things is when guests call me and they want to show me the baby.
We'll do that for sure.
Yeah.
And Ashley's gonna come back over. We'll get packed up and, you know, get the keys back and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, well, I'd like to see her even when she's a toddler.
for sure, of course.
Yeah. I'd like that.
Absolutely. You
All
got
right.
it.
Well, looks like maybe Grandma's here to take care of her garden.
That's Mama Bear.
Oh, she's got the same car as my mother.
Yep, that's
Right.
Hi, baby.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Better now?
He's coming home today. Good to meet you. Oh my goodness, you should see her. She's so bright-eyed and awake and just perfect. I'm so happy we get to take her home. Everything came back great. They did a congenital heart defect test today and that came back normal. Our jaundice levels are low. Everything's good. Yeah.
Good.
I love the happy tears.
Yeah, me too. What an emotional roller coaster that is. I can't imagine what we would be doing the last 2 days if we didn't have this place. I felt like it was homey and so close to the hospital so I could go and feed her and do the breastfeeding thing because that's something that I wanted to do. So it's convenient and everything that we could have asked for.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
It's perfect. That's what I want.
Now's when the real fun begins.
I don't care. I'm gonna love every single second of it.
I'll remind you of that later. I'll remind you.
All right. This is a rite of passage here, huh?
Here she is.
Do you have to tighten them before you clip it, or?
Clip them and then tighten it up, and I'll show
that's-
you where everything needs to be once you guys get her in there.
What is going on?
She's doing, Dad. I don't know what she's doing to me.
That's all. Yeah, that needs to go up nice and
I'm not too sure about this.
Make her a little tighter.